one thing I know is that repetition produces mastery. So every time you repeat something, you become better at it through repetition, right? And that's what consistency is about. Consistency is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again until it becomes second nature.
Welcome to Abby's Coaching House, your home of transformation. This is the space where we grow and aim to grow into the best versions of ourselves. My name is Coach Blessed Abby. We have been on this incredible journey, the 40-day gratitude challenge. And for me, it's been amazing. And today is day 40. We are coming to an end of the journey. The 40 days, not gratitude. We are not coming to the end of gratitude. We are coming to the end of the 40-day gratitude challenge. And so I thought, what a great way, an amazing way to close this challenge than to have my sister and friend Claire just joining us to share our experiences, even as we wait to hear from you, our viewers. Hear how you have enjoyed this. Has this been of benefit to you? What has this done in your life? How has it impacted you? So Claire, welcome and thank you so much for making time for this.
Thank you so much, Abby. It's really, really such a great privilege and an honor to get to do the last day of the challenge together. I was just reflecting earlier, Ron, when you messaged me and you're telling me you're going to be doing a challenge. And I was like, yeah, go for it. And when we had this conversation and when I've seen, honestly, the way you have been dedicated to it, the way you have been committed, but also the way you make gratitude sound so easy. So something that, it shouldn't be difficult. And for many people around the world, I was just reflecting earlier on as you're coming towards the end of the year, maybe just getting that time to look back and think of how God has been so faithful. And it's amazing to hear today is day 40 and it's just incredible. We thank God.
And coming to think of it, you are actually my inspiration. You remember the intermittent fasting challenge. And when we finished, I thought, I think I can also do a challenge. And that is how the gratitude challenge was actually born. So thank you for the inspiration.
I love that. They usually say, if you want to know that you are successful, you need at least to show somebody that you've been able to coach somebody to do something well. You are a coach of note. But one of the things that I was just thinking about, like when I teach, I usually say, if I have been able to succeed, even just to get one of my students to be better than I have or better than I've done, then I have succeeded in my duties as a teacher. And just to give like a very good example, recently I had one of my final year students publish an article, and I was like, look, when he came to me saying, I want to do publication, I say to him, I am going to be in the background. I will facilitate and maybe be like a curator of your learning process, but I'm not going to do this work for you. You will do it, and I will do like the coaching. I'll be in the background helping you. And then as he was going back and forth with the editors and things like that, I was just watching back. When it got published, I could feel the sense of pride to be like, I have successfully mentored somebody to do a publication. And that's like one of the things I look back and say, it has been a joy seeing Abby thrive in a challenge, learning from the mistakes we made, really, from the challenge that we did together with the intermittent fasting.
And when you talk of challenges, yesterday you actually gave us a challenge to read a chapter of a book. And I was reading the Awaken the Giant by Tony Robbins. And one of the things he says is, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Because all the people who have grown have actually grown from the mistakes they did yesterday. So
Absolutely.
it's from the mistakes that we learn. But anyway, somebody could be here and maybe it's your first time and you're wondering who is Claire. So please tell us a little bit about yourself. I know Claire it's the second time we are having her here. I've also been on her channel, so we have been doing things together. So she's not new here. This is home for her. But then,
Absolutely.
just in case you're a new person, Claire, please, for the sake of the new person, please tell them who exactly is Claire.
Yes, so I am Claire. Thank you, Abby. I am a lover of Jesus. I am a wife. I am a mother. And I am a human being. Which why do I say that? Because I do make mistakes. So that's why we're starting from today. I don't know why I just feel like talking about not letting your mistakes define you, but being able to learn from them and moving on really. So I am a human being, so bound to error and things like that. But apart from that, on a day-to-day basis, I lecture, so I teach, and that's like, honestly, I don't know if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, what else I would be able to be doing, because as I mentioned before, as we just introducing this with Abby, like I just love sharing with people. And sometimes when I talk at home, my husband usually say, why can't you just summarize? Just say 2 words and we are done. And I'm like, no, that's not me. I love to give details. I love to see how the story connects with the other. And sometimes I use so many words to get there, but apart from that, and generally I am a fitness enthusiast, so I love anything fitness and health, because I'm a strong believer in having a healthy body. Abby talks about that so much and so many times, and I usually say, and I've said this I think in the last recording we did with Abby, I was saying like, we have a body and we don't have a manual of how to look after it. But then as you start to partner with God, He gives you that opportunity to learn. So I love going running. I run wherever I go to. Recently, I've been back to the gym, which Abby has been back to the gym as well. And it's not necessarily because I really wanted to go back into the gym, but it's just getting back. We were discussing this actually on messages today with Abby, telling the time has changed in the UK. What happens is that we have 2 time frames. We have the summer saving time and then we have the winter time. So in end of October, the clock technically basically goes back by an hour. And then in March, it springs. So it goes ahead with an hour. And that means like
I must have missed that lesson in my geography class. Either I was sleeping or something, because that's just amazing how, I'm just trying to process how do you wake up in the morning and all your times and clocks are behind or ahead. And then
it's crazy. And I love the October one because when it springs back, it means you have an extra hour, so you can always be earlier. But the March one is tricky because it goes ahead, so you can actually wake up on Sunday, going to church, and the church service is finished depending on what time it starts. So because of that changes in the time, is actually meant I've heard to go like kind of in a way when I wake up I need to go to run. It's still very dark outside, and Josh hasn't been really Josh is my husband, I've been knows him. He's not particularly happy about that. So all the time it's been like those, you need to be safe. And I go sometimes with my sister, but also her work schedule is so different from mine. So eventually I just decided, I was like, for my safety, I'll go to the gym. And sometimes I go running. I run to the gym. I live only like 1-2 minutes run from my house to the gym. So I go to the gym, I run, and then run back home. And that was a long saying of who I am. And I need to stop, Abby. I'm sorry.
And I think you forgot to mention that you are a registered nutritionist. So
absolutely. Sorry about that.
People who are following you will learn so much about nutrition and how to take care of their bodies. I normally say I take care of the mind, you take care of the bodies, how to feed ourselves in a very healthy way. And I call her our gazelle because she just runs and runs and runs. I can't run like that. So
I love running.
The legs just find themselves running. And Claire, really, you are an incredible person. I love watching your channel because I learn so much from it. Today, I was watching your short where you are saying, if only excuses could burn calories.
I love if I love that. Honestly, Abby, if excuses could burn calories, I would have burned tons of calories because I always have excuse. Like now it's raining outside, and when I woke up early in the morning, I was taking my son for swimming, and my sister was asking me, "So are you going to the gym? Are you going for a run?" And I was like, "Oh well, it's raining outside. The gym is not open yet, but then I need to look after my son." And then one thing after the other. And as we speak, I haven't been to the run and I haven't been to the gym. And I'm imagining I need to burn some calories. I've been to Costa, which is a coffee shop with my son, to have a coffee. So I've drunk some calories, but I haven't worked for any of those. And I'm like, I wish.
Don't worry. Go easy on yourself. There are days where you actually give yourself some permission to relax. And so,
absolutely.
Claire, for the sake of our viewers, Claire runs a YouTube channel. I call her my elder sister on YouTube. She runs, the name is NutriFood and Total Wellness. I'm trying to get the new name, NutriFood and Total Wellness. So remember to follow her and get these, see her running. If you are struggling with, starting to exercise, this girl will just make you get started. You watch her and you wonder, what am I doing not starting? So she will inspire you to that. So now, Claire, today we are coming to the end of this. We had this other interview with you, or a conversation with you, where we were talking about gratitude, and you talked a lot about you and how you relate to gratitude. And now we also brought in affirmations along the way. How have you found that? Have you done that before? Have you had it from here? How do you do the affirmations yourself?
I find affirmations quite really interesting because obviously sometimes we live in a world where we are told so much about the negatives and negatives. And just giving an example, my son has been on holiday for a week now, and I happened to go with him on Thursday. I had a day off, so we were going into the shop. And as we're going into the shop, he kept on asking for very unrealistic things, which of course it was really unrealistic. And me being a mom and trying to be thinking between my pocket and the things that he was asking, I kept on saying no. I didn't realize my 6-year-old was actually counting how many times I was saying no to him. So we came back home and he looked a little bit like, I was like, what's the matter? He said, today, do you know how many times you've told me no? And I was like, no. How many times have I told you no? He said, out of the whole day, you've told me no 4 times and only said yes once. And that hit me. I was like, he was saying no to a gingerbread man, which we can actually buy. It's the beginning of the season going towards Christmas. We can do a gingerbread man later on. And I didn't say that I can't give you a gingerbread man. I said we can do it on the weekend, right? He interpreted it as, Mommy has said no to me, no to gingerbread man. And then the other thing that he wanted was for me to buy him a squishy toy. Which I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, you are 6 years old. You don't need a cuddly toy anymore. And he's like, no, I need a cuddly toy. And I realized as I was trying to explain, because I maybe didn't explain it so well, in his mind he had registered, Mommy doesn't want it. Mommy says, no. And so that's how most of the time we live in a world where we're constantly told, you can't.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, that it gets to a point that we feel like limited with the fact that I can't do this. And sometimes for you to be able to reverse those negativities, you need positive affirmations. And so I had to start telling him, I didn't say no for life. I just said delayed no. And so today we've had to go and reverse some of the things so that I had to do positive things. And I said, have I been able to achieve all the positives that you wanted? And he was like, thank you. But now showing him in a good way, reversing the negative and saying, okay, you can't have this toy, but you can have the other one. And for me, that's how I look at affirmation, because I've constantly been told, you can't do that. You're a woman. You can't achieve that. You're a woman. You're not your color of the skin, all those kind of things. But when you start to think like reversing that, you need positive things. And the Bible says even clearly, out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth will speak. And that's what you're doing. You will eat the fruit of your lips. So affirmation to me is like constantly saying those positive things, and you become what you constantly talk about yourself. So I've learned this, that I've been doing this week, and you've been really taking us through that to say, I am a loved child of God. I am a great sister. I am a great daughter. I am a great wife. I am a great mother. And it's those positive things that you're kind of using to undo the negative that we are constantly knowingly or unknowingly positioned into. And that's why I love the affirmations.
Yeah, and when you talk of your son, remember I have mentioned in the past, he's within the programming age. And so everything we say really matters. When I talk to my son and my children, and you are talking to them and you realize they have that same tendency to pick what is the meaning. It's not really about what you say, but about the meaning. So you say something else, the child picks something else. And then their minds begin to record maybe scarcity or abundance. So, even as we say no, sometimes I say no and then I look back and ask myself, does that build a scarcity mindset in my child or abundance? So, of course, we are not perfect parents, so we have to keep going back and just asking ourselves, what did I do better? How can I improve on what I've done? And so that really brings a point of reflection, and it's really something important. But then this has been a season where we have focused on our blessings. For me, I have really enjoyed that, just waking up every day and I look outside and say, I am grateful for, the sun. I'm grateful for the dew. I'm grateful for the sounds of the birds of the air. Remember, there is someone who can't even hear that sound, and you can.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful that I can see, that I can walk, that, even going to that gym, I'm grateful that I can go. And so for me, it's, the focus. Remember, in the very first days, I said that what we focus on grows. And
Absolutely.
so as we have been focusing on blessings, as we've been focusing on the positive things happening, we've focused on our people, our spouses, our children, how they are blessings to us, our workmates, our homes and all that. What would you comment about that? What would you say is your experience with that? We're just focusing on what is good around you.
I think when you constantly focus on what is negative, there will always be opportunities to find something to complain about. As you're saying, for example, you don't have to go outside your house to find something to complain about. You can look outside and you see a bird that is humming and doing things, and because you're being so negative and you're not focusing on the good, you start to feel like it's making noise. You can look outside and you see the weather and you start to think like, oh gosh, it's raining again. You will always find something to complain about. But when you decide to change that into good, actually, as you're saying, it grows into more reasons to be grateful, isn't it? When you are looking at those good things, it actually makes you realize, I didn't really apply to be born to have eyes and ears and all those things, but I have them, and because of that, I can actually be grateful because I have these things, rather than kind of thinking like, or maybe I should have had a long nose, or maybe I should have had, those kind of things.
Yes.
And somebody was, those eras when we didn't have WhatsApp, and we used to communicate on Yahoo email. Do you remember?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And they used to send each other. And I think it was you or somebody who sent me like those encouragement they used to send on emails. I was saying somebody is busy complaining that they don't have shoes, whereas somebody has the opportunity to buy shoes, but they don't have legs.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can look at those, if you're looking at those negatives, I mean, there is so much. Look at the world around us.
Yeah.
Look at the things that are happening, the wars, the rumors of wars. But when you decide to look at those good and the good rather than focus on the good, it actually even produces, you are the one who was saying this last time, happy hormones, isn't it? It gives you those hormones of joy, and you're feeling like, oh my God, I can breathe. Fresh breath, and it kind of just changes. It lightens the mood, it lightens the environment, and you find you're oozing with positivity. Then you are a good person to your spouse, you're feeling good to your family, and honestly, when you are in that state, even the atmosphere feels it. And you change the atmosphere, and those are the times that my sister will say, wow, we feel you, and those times that I'm focusing on the negative and I'm like, my lecture didn't go well, this, she'll be like, what happened today? We can feel the mood, we can feel the atmosphere, and we carry, whether you like it or not, we carry with us an atmosphere that can shift the whole environment of our house, either to the positive or the negative, and it's by being intentional to be like, I'm going to be a positive, like I'm going to focus on the good, even though I'm not denying the fact that things are not perfect.
Yes.
I'm not denying the fact that I might be not feeling 100% okay in my body. I don't want to live in a fantasy to say like confessing positivity when it's not, but when you're focusing on the fact that actually I might be having a headache, but I'm still grateful that I can still go and do my ironing. I can still go and do my shopping. And it's, for me, that's how I'm looking at things, like amplifying the positive atmosphere. And it's true, looking at the good, even though the negative will still be there, and not just focusing on it.
Yeah, and talking of the hormone, I've actually been studying a bit and listening to people who are talking of these happy hormones and the stress hormones. And cortisol is one of these stress hormones that when produced into our systems, it actually even causes aging and just destroys us, gradually, slowly but sure, it's taking us closer to our graves. So we are, we are better off when we are actually doing gratitude, doing the affirmations and producing the happy hormones. Because the happier you are, the longer you even stand chances of living a longer life. It adds value to your life to be happier. And so gratitude is actually a great way. And Claire, let me tell you, I am one person who, you may not know this, but I was a serious complainer. Serious.
Oh, wow. You're good at hiding it.
I think I've been hiding things all my life, because when I say to my brother, I struggled with a low self-esteem, and my brother was wondering, when did you ever struggle with that? And for me, I used to be this person. So if it rains, I complain. When it's dry, I complain. I go to work, I find something to complain about. So when I'm doing this challenge, it's actually not really because I have been accomplished in this, but I acknowledge that gratitude has changed my life, my view of life. So I'm really grateful that when we get to do this, and every day when I wake up, the first thought that comes to my mind is that of gratitude. I would wake up and the first thought is that, so again, I'm going to work. So I have this to take care of. And so being grateful has been a game changer in my life. So I have really enjoyed doing this. And so I thought, why not do it with other people? And I remember how it began. I was somewhere in town, and then, the economy has been, taking a trend that many people are not happy with. So there's all this complaining of the president, the government. That's here in Kenya. Maybe it's different for you. I don't know. But
everywhere.
But then this person I was talking to was just saying, things are so bad. And I was just wondering, everything is so bad. But you're here, you're working. At least you have a business. Why must you confess that things are so bad? Can't you just look at what you have and focus on it and be happy about it? And then these things will continue to grow in your life, because we are told, be the energy that you want to attract. If you're a grateful person, you attract more grateful people to you. If you're this complainer, you attract more reasons to complain, as you've said, and more people who are actually complaining. So you find that your tribe is actually that of complainers. So I think that's my experience with gratitude. And so I've been thinking about it in relation with discipline. Or actually, before we get to discipline, journaling. You talk a lot about journaling and you doing journaling. And so I've been encouraging people to journal their gratitudes and their affirmations. Tell us, what's your experience with journaling? What made you begin journaling, and why do you enjoy it?
I started journaling. I think I was in a church where the pastor was very religious about journaling and things like that, and being in a leadership team at church kind of meant like having the opportunity to sit under this really anointed great man of God, kind of just listen and see how he led his life. And I think he kept on talking to us and teaching us, even as a church, is saying like how journaling is important and things like that. So I was an on and off journaler. Like today I'll be like, I'll journal for a given time, and then all of a sudden I give up and things like that. But this year I started off the 1st of January, and I say to myself, Claire, we are journaling throughout 2023.
Wow.
And I am currently on day 275, I think, which is the days that have been without breaking a single day of no journaling. And most of the time I journal for sure gratitude, but as I've mentioned, I also journal my thoughts. I process nowadays a lot my thoughts through writing. When I am upset with something, I write it down, and as I'm writing, I'm thinking, am I just being a bit silly, or am I really being sincere about being upset by these things? Can I really just let go of them? And I journal the moments of happiness. I journal, like now my son has been away from school for a week. I started off the first day with just thinking and reflecting on how he's going to do a week away from school. And today, looking back, the week is gone, going back into being just grateful again. The more I journal, the more I realize actually I have so many reasons to be grateful. And I have also I kind of have started just over the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks, like once a week in the middle of my work week, that's a Wednesday, I just take like an hour and I sit down, because we have lunch breaks and things like that at work, and I spend maybe 30-40 minutes of that time just kind of thinking and reflecting, and mostly just reflect on my relationship with God, my relationship with my family, and things like that. And I do just sit sometimes in silence and just hear like, what is it, God, really you're speaking to me in this season? And just writing. And my sister was telling me the other day, she saw my journals and she's like, oh my God, how do you do this? Where do you get the things you write down? And I said, when you still yourself, just being silent and still and quiet, you will find things to be grateful. You find things to journal about. And sometimes it's probably even a process you are going through, maybe like I've told you, processing the loss of my mom through gratitude, through journaling. So it kind of it becomes like a normal part of you, really.
Wow. And actually, at that point, you actually engage your superconscious mind. We have talked a lot about the subconscious and the conscious, but then the superconscious is that inner you that is so powerful, that actually gives you, sometimes you feel stuck, but when you dig deep into the real you, the inner you, the powerful you, the one that really connects to your maker, the one that connects to God, you actually find so many answers. And so, as you're saying, silence is a very good thing to have. I have been listening to successful people, and they all say they take times to be away from the world, times to be silent, times to process, and when they come back, they have great business ideas, they have great relationship ideas and all that. But when you allow all the noise to bombard you, it can really mess you up. And so that's incredible. Your journey of journaling, I hope it encourages somebody, because I think there's someone who actually says, I don't have time to do this. And so now I think that brings me to discipline. How do you get yourself disciplined, not just in journaling, but even in your life in general? Because for you to go to the gym, for you to go for runs, for you to manage your family issues, there must be an aspect of discipline incorporated. How would you say that to somebody who is saying, I really don't have time for this? When do you people find time to journal? What can you say to them?
I think I will describe myself as somebody who loves forming habits, and that's why when I do challenges, they help me with forming those habits. Like now you're talking about reading a chapter a day. And because I know I'm doing that with people, I will commit to it. And once I commit to it, it becomes part of my life. And so like for me, just being able to make a new habit and stick to it is a motivation. So like my day is not different from any other person's day. As I said, I'm a human being. It's like a normal thing to do. So I have 24 hours in a day like everybody else. But then what I've done is like, I know when I'm supposed to be sleeping, and my body knows well how to kind of, in a way, it will tell me when it's had enough sleep and when it doesn't have enough sleep. As I mentioned in one of the recordings on my channel, I struggle if I am stressed up, and particularly if I don't sleep enough because of course, different things with my health and things like that. And so I know I need enough sleep. So I sleep enough. I sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. And then when the times that I'm awake, I have very clear routines. So wake up in the morning, I spend at least an hour in my time with God, alone with God. When I finish that, I was telling my husband the other day, he was asking me, why do you have 3 alarms on your phone? I said, the first alarm is to help me wake up, right? The second alarm is if I have failed to wake up with the first alarm, I will wake up with the second alarm. And the third alarm is to remind me, now my time in the house is gone, I need to be in the gym. And he was like, oh, that's interesting. So when my third alarm rings, which is 6:30 in the morning, that's when I needed to go for a run. But because it's still dark, that's when I go to the gym. When I'm in the gym, I don't overkill. I don't do too much. I just do a maximum of an hour. And I'm like, for me, that's enough. If I do 30 minutes, I'm happy. If I do more than that, I'm grateful. When I come back home, it's mostly like preparing breakfast if everybody is having breakfast together. And then I hit the road, from school run. I get to my desk. The first thing I do, I get out my journal, get out my Bible, I read a proverb, I do my 5 minutes or 10 minutes of journaling, and then I start my day, right? Wow. I've gotten that out of the way. But also during the day, if I want to write something, I always have my journal next to it's on my desk, right? Yes. So it's not like I have to start looking for it when a thought comes to my mind, or I have to, it's always there. So whenever I want to do something, I get that. And when I want to do that longer, 1 hour that I was talking about at my workplace, they give you, there's like a faith room. So you are allowed, you can go and spend some time in there. So I go in that faith room and I have that couple of minutes more longer. So
Wow.
then when I finish my day, I pick up my son from school. I come home as he's doing his stuff, he's in the kitchen. When I finish kitchen, we have dinner, time for my son, and he goes to bed the same time every single day, whether it's a Monday or a
Wow.
Sunday. I've tried to shift it around, and his dad is like, nope, routine is routine. So that's how I ended up having like that kind of discipline, because I'm like, I need to be disciplined to get Judah in bed at the right time. I need to be disciplined to be, and because I teach, classes start 10 past the hour. If I end up going 15 past the hour, I am going to be getting myself into trouble. It's called the sulk, because the students will start complaining, and I'll be like, I'll get into trouble. So the nature of my career has meant I really have to be where I need to be at the right time. And I find also like just having like a to-do list. I have a to-do list, to be honest. Like it's funny the way I do my to-do list. I've got these post-it notes, my daily to-do list, and then I've got those longer things that I need to do, which will go in a bigger to-do list thing. But those are some of the things that I find are really helpful to kind of encourage somebody to be disciplined, if that makes sense.
Wow. It actually does make a lot of sense. I also shared my routine. I can't remember which day, but on the the course of the 40 days, I've also shared my routine, because I also believe in routines. When your brain knows that we are doing this tomorrow, actually subconsciously you begin to prepare for it. So I would encourage anyone watching us to develop a routine, and just to know that we are doing this. Instruct your brain in advance, I'm doing this tomorrow morning. So when you do that, you find yourself in a place where you really can't fail. I want us to talk a little bit about consistency. Yesterday I was driving, and my son was with me, and so he asked, "Mom, how did you learn driving?" And of course I talked to him about it, and then I remembered that how it all started. I was so scared, so afraid, and as I drove, I was so careful. I knew when I was turning, I knew when I was putting the signals on, when I was stepping on the brakes or the accelerator. Nowadays, I don't even remember. I just sometimes I ask myself, did I put the signal on? And I realize subconsciously I already did it. And so I thought about how when we start to do things, it's not natural. It actually feels very awkward. But the more we continue to do it, it actually becomes so natural. And so there could be someone watching us and wondering, how do I get, gratitude, a life of gratitude to become a routine in my life? And I'm thinking of consistency, because I believe that what you do every day, repeated, gets to a point where it becomes easy, it becomes natural. And you've talked a lot about consistency, even as in relation to exercise. So now, please talk about it now in relation to even the journaling and the gratitude. How does consistency form these healthy habits in our routines, in our life, so that we make it a lifestyle?
Yeah, one thing I know is that repetition produces mastery. So every time you repeat something, you repeat. It's going back into like things like affirmation. You can't just affirm something once and then it becomes a reality. You have to constantly affirm it. You have to constantly remind yourself that this is who I am. This is the truth of who I am. So every time you repeat something, you become better at it through repetition, right? And that's what consistency is about. Consistency is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. So for example, I have journaled for over 250 days this year.
Yes.
Generally, even if I forget a single day, the next day I still remember the things in my mind that I wanted to journal about because it's become part of my life. And they say it's tried and tested.
Yes.
You do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit, right?
Yeah.
You do it for 90 days, it becomes lifestyle.
Yes.
So the difficult part is usually just getting yourself into it. So that, like, getting yourself, I was talking about driving with your son yesterday. I was talking to my sister about exercise, and I was saying to her, because she's come with me for a few times to run, and then it gets to a point that she's like, the work gets in the way, life gets in the way, and she's asking me, like, how do you keep on doing it every single time? I said, it is because I realize the end goal is actually an investment in my future, is an investment in my health. If I'm healthy, a healthy mama means that I will look after the rest of the family. And so it's kind of, in a way, just reminding yourself like I was saying earlier, every single step counts. But those single steps, it's every baby step towards achieving the goal, achieving the target. You're constantly telling yourself, if I fail, I pick myself up and I go again at it. If I don't journal one day, I pick myself up and I go back into it. And it's not, I don't know how, like, you reward yourself, but for me, my reward is usually, I motivate myself by the rewards. Like, I'm kind of, I say to my sister, when I've done 500 kilometers of a run, I can buy myself a new pair of shoes. And that, because I bought a new pair of shoes, I'm like, I'm not going to leave them in the garage or in their showroom. I'm going to go back into to run more, because I have a new pair of shoes. And that, in a sense, does help me with, you can't become a master of something you've done only once. Yesterday, I was at work, and I am going to be teaching something about cheese production and dairy and things like that. So one of my colleagues is teaching about meat production. And so we had these students that we are putting them together into like a room, and we had some lady who is a butcher coming to slice a pig for them, and she was like deboning and showing them how you cut the pieces, how you do slice these from a whole pig into small meat chunks. And so somebody asks her and says, like, how have you been doing this? How did you come even to start this? And she says, it's true every single day. You get it wrong, you wake up and do it again. And she mentioned, if you want to become a master butcher, it can take even 15 years for you to be recognized as a master butcher. And there are not so many master butchers where in the UK at the moment, because a lot of people will not give themselves 15 years to constantly repeat slicing pig, cutting getting these blowing out and things like that, constantly going back. But those who are patient and going back and back and back, they get to a point, they become a master. And that's for me how I actually look at consistency. You have to just doing, even if it's baby steps, don't do it once and expect perfection. Constantly going back until you become great at it.
Yeah, and I love what you said, baby steps, because actually that's what my coach used to say. Do baby steps. I didn't bring my journal books here, but when I started gratitude journaling, you should have seen me. I didn't, funny enough, I couldn't find things to write. It sounds very awkward, but I had so much negativity in that whenever I looked at life, all I saw is negativity. I would see my husband and pick out negativities. And here we are now. The other day we were celebrating our 13th anniversary. And
congratulations.
We are grateful. But we've been learning from all those mistakes that we've made. Thank you, Claire. And we've been learning. And now we are at this point. I'm at this point where I have learned how to pick out positivities in him. And the more, even when you are an employer, if you go to your employees and every day you pick out mistakes, I think it's John C. Maxwell who says, human beings work for a reward, either consciously or unconsciously, they work for a reward. So when you don't reward people with what they want to hear, every day you are complaining, these people tend to give you, they reach a point and say, even if I did well, she would come and complain. So why should I bother? So you find that our relationships will be better when we thrive in gratitude, when we can say, my son, I am grateful for the incredible person that you are. My husband, I am so grateful for this incredible person that you are. But if we kept measuring on the negatives that, happens every day around us, because they are there, but positives also happen. And so our keywords on this challenge have actually been intentionality and focus. That it's like you have this lens, but you narrow it down to your blessings. It's not like bad things are not happening. Bad things are happening all over, but then you are challenging yourself to just narrow down on the blessings. And that is what makes the difference. That is what makes you, stand out, and your brain will be, happy that you actually notice these things, and you will find yourself in a space where the happy hormones are produced more and more, and you get to a point where you are constantly happy. I would say that for me, it's not like things are perfect in my life, but I've gotten to the point where I am able to pull out the silver from the mud all the time, because of doing it again and again. So as you said, repetition, how did you say it? Repetition
produces mastery. What you repeat, you become a master to it.
Yeah, I didn't want to mess the statement and put in my own things. I wanted to say it exactly as you said. And you have had Claire repeat what I have said before, that 21 days gives us the habit, produces the habit, or helps us to have a consistent habit. 90 days develops a lifestyle. So we are on 40 days, and it's not that this is the end of gratitude. It's the end of the challenge, yes, but I challenge you to continue. Do this every other day. Continue to journal. If you're here for the first time and you have not even started this, there's a playlist attached to this channel where you can get everything we've been doing. Just start from day one. Start from anywhere and just journal. Focus on gratitudes and let these develop into our lifestyles. And actually, they say that the more you focus on gratitude, the more you are grateful, you even attract more miracles. Blessings and great things begin to happen in your life. So, any parting shot, Claire, that you want to leave us with today?
Just I think the most important thing, as you said, is it's just the beginning. It's not the end. It's the beginning of a lifestyle that overflows with gratitude. And I mean, I had the privilege on this week of just going back and reading through Colossians, and my AirPods decided to fall off. Reading through Colossians, and when you start off from just chapter 1, if it's something that anybody out there who really, loves to read the Bible can do it. It's a book that I never realized is so much focusing on thankfulness, talks about being thankful in everything, be grateful. And it's just kind of reminding you, don't wait for the big things to be grateful. Be grateful in those small things so that when the big things come, you will not struggle with being grateful for them. If you're waiting for those perfect opportunities to be able to be grateful, they will never come. But when you start with those little minor mundane things, absolutely it's going to become great in the end.
Yeah, you actually reminded me of something I think I put on my status today. It says, be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you never ever have enough. And that's a quote by Oprah Winfrey. And so to our viewers, you've heard what we've shared, what Claire has shared. And really, Claire, I really thank you for being part of this. You've been a great encourager and a great motivator, even in the journey, because let me tell you, this challenge started with a challenge. The first 2 days I was so unwell. My voice was so hoarse, and I was just wondering, really, God, should I have done this challenge? But then I remembered someone who said, like when you go to the gym and your body is sore all over, you never go back home and say, I think this is a sign I should stop going to the gym. You go back tomorrow. And and this yesterday I went to the gym, and my coach brought in something new that we were working out on, and when I left there, I was in pain. And then this morning, my phone has a way of popping out affirmations. So my phone popped out an affirmation that being at the gym is fun, and I really love being at the gym. And I just
That's not for me.
I just wondered, this phone, do you know what I'm going through today? But anyway, as we do this, just like at the gym, as we do, as you go to the gym every day, you know that at the end of the day, you will produce a muscle. Your muscle will be stronger. You will have a stronger body. The same way, the journaling of gratitudes and affirmation. One of the days I said that the words I am, there's so much that follows the words I am. I used to be this person who said, I am foolish, I am stupid, I am all that. How could you do this? And surely when I look back, I wonder, how could I just be such an enemy to myself? And so affirmations are also a way of being a friend to yourself, where you tell yourself, I am the best, I am fabulous, I am great at what I do. And the more you do this, your subconscious picks them, and by you actually begin to be best and amazing at what you do. Even if you feel that you are not where you are, the book of Romans talks about God calling things that are not as if they were. And can't we imitate our Father in heaven and call things? If you think your marriage is a mess, begin to affirm that I have a beautiful marriage. If you think your child is not on the right course, begin to affirm that. Is it Psalms 112 that says, my children are a seed of greatness? Affirm that over your children. Keep affirming and affirming, and at the end of the day, these affirmations will bear fruits. So I challenge each and every one of us. Gratitude doesn't end here. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep journaling. I have been journaling gratitudes. I have challenged myself to do 10 things I'm grateful for every morning and 10 affirmations every morning. Remember, I have said, when I started, I could not write 10. I think I wrote 2 or 3. Until my coach asked me, you mean, Abby, you have nothing to be grateful for, including your eyes, your nose, your legs. You're not grateful. But I couldn't see them because my point of focus was totally messed up. So let me just thank our viewers for being part of this challenge. I am so grateful and honored to have had you. And even for those who will be coming in later, welcome. Enjoy this challenge. It's such a blessing. And we catch up in so many things. And be a blessing to us in this channel. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Let's keep growing together. Let's enjoy a great lifestyle, the lifestyle that we are actually divinely created to live. And remember to follow my sister Claire also and get to learn more about nutrition and fitness and all that. I will link it on the description box. Just show us some love and share with us in the comment section. Let us know how this challenge has impacted you and how it has made a difference in your life. And so with that, I think, Claire, we need to end this with a celebration dance. How do we end without celebrating? We just say, hey.
You were supposed to teach me how to dance, and then you never did it. So I'm going to try my own.
We're just doing a unique one. But so we are grateful and we really thank God for the far He has brought us in this challenge. So till another time and more things coming up. God bless you. You are enough. You are blessed. You are incredible. And God loves you. And so remember to also love yourself. Bye.
Bye-bye.